Anytime they see me, I'm hoping they only wish me well.
So welcome back to another episode on the Big Figure Show, where it's all about celebrating greatness and giving people their flowers while they can still smell them. So today, I have a special guest, and I've never done an introduction like this before, so this one's going to be a little bit different, because you have to give credit where credit's due, right? And when a person walks into the room, you know a legend when you see a legend. So what I'm going to do is go through these accolades just so you can understand the levels that we have in the building. So I'm going to pull up my laptop. And let me start from the beginning. 5 times ABA champion, European bronze medalist, European silver medalist, European gold medalist, world bronze medalist, first GB woman to box at the Olympics, the first WBO champion, IBF champion, WBC champion, fighter of the year. Without further ado, I'd love to welcome Natasha Jonas to the show.
Nice one.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm very horsey from the Liam Smith fight at the weekend, but
yeah, good. Well, thank you for coming on the show.
No, it's all right.
It's an absolute pleasure.
Oh.
So how does it feel, me reading all those accolades to you?
Some of them I forgot about. Like the 5-time champion and stuff. I get a little bit embarrassed, if I'm honest.
Why?
I don't know, just get a little bit embarrassed. It's like, I don't know.
No, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to champion. Because that's not an everyday thing.
Oh,
to receive those accolades and accomplish what you've accomplished. But before we get into talking about the journey, for those that don't know, for those that have been living under a rock, who's Natasha Jonas?
Who am I? At my core, I'm probably a loving, caring, hard-working, motivated, highly driven person who's a little bit intelligent when she wants to be. That's who I am at my core, but I'm obviously a female boxer, current world champion, like you just said, all them ones.
Did I miss anything off?
No. Oh, Ring Magazine. Number 1 Ring Magazine.
Ring Magazine. Let's not forget that. So, I know we're from the same area, Toxteth. That's where I was obviously born. Left there when I was younger. And went to Granby School. So I know what it's like growing up in Toxteth and what it was like at the time. But what was the upbringing like for you? What was your experience like?
I was born just as and during the riots. So, there was a lot of unrest in the city, a lot of poverty, a lot of mistreatment, of drugs, all that kinds of stuff that you kind of see in inner city areas.
Yeah.
And everyone had a stereotype of what Toxteth, when you used to go other places, they'd be like, Toxteth, you live there, Toxteth like this. But for me, it was just home. And, we come from a massive family. I've always been surrounded by people that I know, love and trust and that look after me. So I've always felt at home here.
And it's, again, and I agree with you. I have the same point as you, because when you mention Toxteth to people, they think, Toxteth, is that where you're from? But when you're here, because you know everyone, I was saying earlier, everyone's aunties knows each other, everyone's dads knows each other, everyone's mum knows each other. So you don't feel what an outsider is supposedly feeling when they're looking in, because all they see is gang violence, but you don't see all the love amongst the community.
Of course, and there's no more like when I put posts out and when I win belts at all, 90% of the people are the people from here that just want to see you do well and
almost with a heart.
Yeah, go ahead, girl, and all that.
Yeah. So growing up here, again, it's got a negative stigma to it, right? But how did you manage to navigate through Toxteth and not get caught up and sidetracked into the things that were happening at the time?
To be honest, at times I did get caught up. But, there's always something like, I promised myself, and this sounds stupid, but I promised myself from a young age that I wouldn't be like everybody else. And I just, throughout my life, I've always looked to other people. My first idol was Mia Hamm, and I wanted to play football and, go to America and be sponsored by Nike like she was. Yeah. And then when she kind of faded, then it was Marion Jones. And because she'd swapped from basketball to athletics, I was like, oh, she can do two sports. She's like, so I've always looked up and I thought, I want to be like them. I want to be like them. And that kind of mindset, I knew what it, I didn't know what it took, but I knew that I just didn't want to be like everyone else, and I knew I needed to be there, and I knew I was destined for something bigger.
And that's from a very young age.
From a very young age. I watched the, well, I didn't know this story, but my mum told me after I'd qualified for the Olympics. So I watched the 88 games in Seoul, and because I've always loved sport, our family's very sporty, I said to her, Mum, I'm going to be there. And I was only 4 at the time, and she was like, yeah, whatever, Lord. I'm like, no, Mum, I'm going to be there. And she's like, well, you need to go and practice. So off I went. But yeah, it took me 24 years and about 105 different sports, but I got there in the end. So even that from a kid, just having that thing of like, oh, wow, I see that, I want to do that, I want to be that. Yeah. Just always aspiring and looking to something. And someone said it to me the other day, and I didn't realise that I do it. Manifesting. That's what I've been doing since I was little.
Powerful. And you didn't even know you was doing it.
I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what it was.
Yeah. It's just like, I see something and that's what I want.
Yeah, that's what I want. I want to be there.
Speaking it into existence. Now, and obviously you said you played 101 different sports. And obviously I've done some research, as you do. And I see that you're playing football.
Yeah.
So you was at quite a high level at football before the transition into boxing.
Yeah, I was playing football at England trials and got a scholarship to go to play abroad, and got it in America. So like I said, I wanted to be Mia Hamm, and I knew that, American female team since I was a kid has been the number one football team country. So I knew I had to be there. I knew I had to get there. The only way to do that was by, passing the SATs, getting your A levels and getting the scores that you needed. Now, I was terrible at school. Yeah. It just wasn't for me. I just couldn't relate to anything that I did. I haven't got a good memory. Yeah. So it was just tough. But the bigger picture was that was the only way to get there. And what I realised when I was going through them stages is that it wasn't that I couldn't do it. It's just that I wasn't confident in doing it. So where I had this, no matter what sport it is, you could give me a challenge now, and within an hour I'll be able to do it, because I've got that confidence in me, like sporting ability, but I didn't have that same confidence in school.
And I think a lot of people can relate to that as well, including myself. Because in school they said I had dyslexia, so I used to find any reason just to avoid being in lesson. Yeah. But when it comes to PE, that's something that I would excel in. So I think a lot of people can relate to obviously what you're saying. But what age was you playing football to? Because I know it was around, was it 20, 21?
Yeah, I played till I was 20 and got an injury. Yeah. Came back from America. And then, it went a little bit downhill from there.
Yeah, because sorry to cut you off, because I was going to say that, because I'm guessing your dream was to become a footballer, right? Because you got an England trials, you're going off to a scholarship. And for that to just be shattered, say, I can't make it no more, I've got a knee injury. Yeah. That must have been a dark time, I can only imagine. It
was. When I went, like, everyone was that proud of me, and, when I was telling everyone in the bingo, oh, she's going to be a footballer. And I'm like, I've told her I'm going to get £1 million sponsorship that I haven't even got, and I've spent this. I'm like, Mum, now when I come back, I'm going to buy you a house. Mum, I'm going to buy you this. I've already spent this £1 million that I haven't got. But, like, I told them that, and they was that proud. I think I was the first or second person in my family to go to university, so everyone's like, she's going to do well, she's going to do this. And then I came back and I was back to square one. That's what it felt like. And then I'm sitting there and I'm watching the match and stuff, and Wayne Rooney's 16, just started his first game for Everton. I think Beth Tweddle was like 15 and just won a first Commonwealth gold. And I was like, well, I'm 20. So like, if I was going to be anything to do with sport, I'd already had done it by now. So it kind of broke me off for a long time. And people don't realise how like social sport is. So like when you're a part of like a team, there's like, it's like 20 other players that you go to birthdays, you go out on nights out, you go to their mum's weddings and stuff. And when that's gone, I'd lost the whole group of friends. So I struggled for a good year, and then I just hit rock bottom. And I was just like, I just need to do something. Sport has always been my motivation to do anything.
Sport. So at what point did you say, it's boxing?
I never.
You never?
I went to, I started going to R. Harris's karate gym.
Yeah.
And it's just got like a bag, a running machine, free weights. And I just said to them, look, I had put on a lot of weight and I'd lost a lot of confidence, lost a lot of friends. So I just want to do something positive. I got sacked from my seventh job that year.
What happened?
And I was just like, right, I need to like do something. He was like, yeah, there's a set of keys, go and train when you want. So I used to go, and there was a woman that used to live over the road from the gym. And I kind of like watched it for him when he weren't there. And she was like knocked over and she was like, I've seen you coming in and out loads of times. You're always training by yourself. Like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm Harris's niece. You know, he's giving me the keys. I'm just training. She's like, stop training by yourself and come to the local gym, which was the Rotunda. She's like, but yeah, it's boxing. You know, if it's a good group of girls, I think you'll really enjoy it. I was thinking to myself, boxing, like, oh, who wants to get punched in the face? Like, that is not the thing for me. I've always liked watching it, but I just never ever thought that I'd do it. And she was like, no, you should come. And for months and months and months, she was bugging me to go. And I thought, right, you know what, just to shut her up, I'll go. So then the next time she asked me, I'll be like, I didn't like her, I'm not going back. But I went, and God, it's coming up to 18 years ago now.
Wow. So at what point did you say, I love this? Like, I'm enjoying it now?
It was probably the first time I went. Like, I got through the session, like everyone thinks you go into boxing and you're going to put a head guard on and start sparring. It's not like that. Yeah. But we were doing like all the technique work and, you know, just doing the thing, like going through the workout. And I woke up the next day and my whole body was in pain. Yeah. But I thought, you know what? For the first time since I can't even remember, like, I pushed myself and it felt good. So I was like, I'm going to go back, and just kept on going back. And then it was like, oh, you know, we think you're good enough to actually have a fight. So I was like, I'm 21 at this time. I'm like, I'm not really scared to try anything, but yeah, go ahead, I'll do it.
Sign me up.
Yeah, sign me up. When you got all like the likes of Bell, you, Liam Smith, Stephen Smith, Paul Smith, Callum Smith, all there. I was like, yeah, go ahead, put my name down. Yeah. So we went to the Adelphi. That was where our club shows were. And obviously it was our club show, so it's everyone from your club fighting people from all different clubs. Yeah. And like as I weighed in, like I'm like looking at my opponent and everyone's looking up there, who's going to knock him out and all that. I'm like, yes. So then it gets in the ring and I stops the girl in the second round, and there's some fella like rotting someone's dad comes over and like, girl, that was brilliant. That was, you know, can't believe how good that was for your first fight. Make sure you keep that up. And I was like, oh yeah, I will. Ran to the coach. I was like, any more of them, put my name down, and it just spiraled out of control from there.
And you just from then you just thought, this is for me. Yeah,
well, like I just was doing it because it was good. It was positive. It was like made me feel good. I never envisage where it'd get me. There was no Olympic team at that time. There was barely a team England at that time. So then, you know, I went that year after 4 fights and won the national championships. Wow. So once you win the national title, you're champion of England. So then you start like going to tournaments for England, which was very few and far between at the time. So I thought, I've got another top that says, you know, Jonas on the back of England top, smashed it. And then they were like, there's rumours. That was in 2005 or 6. And then there was rumours. I was doing that for years, and there was rumours in 2009 that they was going to be in the Olympics. So then when I got to 2009, I was like, no, I'll stay if there's going to be an Olympics. And then 2010, there was it was the announcement, and we had to make a Team GB. So then I was like, well, okay, I'll stay around for Team GB, be a funded athlete, you know, like the lads. And then that happened. Then I got on the squad. Then you obviously trained into 2012. That happened. Then the Commonwealths came. That happened. Yeah. So it was just snowballed. I never ever thought it'd get where it was. I was just going because it made me feel good.
And you loved it.
I loved it. Yeah.
You know what? It's until I started again. I didn't box at all on your level until I started sparring in the gym and doing things with friends and people that I didn't know, and the adrenaline rush that I got from it. I couldn't understand beforehand how boxers enjoyed fighting until I put on a pair of gloves myself and I said, I get it. Yeah. I understand how you can be... Some boxers say they're addicted to it, right?
Yeah, 100%.
They were never...
It's a different addiction.
Yeah. And I didn't get it until I started boxing myself. And I was like, wow. how can you enjoy being punched in the face? It just didn't make sense to me.
Yeah,
but I get it now. And obviously the love shines through, and I think that's more important as well. As long as you enjoy it, you would take it all the way. Yeah.
It's too hard to not enjoy. And there's too much of time and sacrifices that you need to put into it to not enjoy it. Otherwise, it'll show.
In the ring?
Yeah, it'll show in the ring if you didn't.
So what would you say boxing's taught you then?
Loads of things. I wouldn't say just boxing, just sport in general. You know, I'm committed. I'm usually punctual, but not today.
I'll let you off.
Yeah. You know, I'm driven. I can work by myself. I can work as part of a team. You know, so yeah, I'm highly motivated. All them things.
So obviously from young, you mentioned to your mum that, I'm going to be over there one day, I'm going to be in the Olympics. So to me, that seems like someone who has high self-belief. That, you don't know that you're going to go on to do those things, but you believe that you can. Is that something that was installed in you, or you just naturally just had it?
Yeah, I think so. I think, people tell the kids, you can be whatever you want. Well, in fact, that's a lie. Like, our family told us, you can be whatever you want. You have to work hard, you have to do all this. And, my granddad always used to say, you have 3 names in life. One you're given, one you inherit, and one you make for yourself. And that was kind of like his little thing. But then, sometimes I go into schools and do stuff with kids and work with parents alongside. And not everybody tells their kids that. And so I was shocked that people didn't tell their kids that.
And that's what I forgot to mention in the introduction too, because you're a mentor as well, right?
Yeah, I try and be.
Do you still do that at the minute, or is that?
Yeah, I try to as many people as possible.
Is that like you go around to schools and give talks, or is it actually like an official job, or it's just a role that you take on in order to inspire young girls and boys to, do right and do positive?
It was an official job a couple of years ago, but now that like kind of project finished. But I enjoyed it so much that I just carried on by myself and go to schools, youth community groups, other boxing clubs up and down the country. But I like to focus on my area really, and just do it. I'm in St. Silas next week.
Oh wow! Just going to give a talk.
Yeah.
Just inspiring people.
Try it.
No, that's good because again, I sent you a voice note, right? And my daughter, absolutely, she just phoned me before. Literally, before you came in, she phoned me because I knew she's going to be going to bed early. So she gave me a call just to say good night because she knew we was going to be part of the conversation. And she's like, "Is Natasha there now? Natasha there? Oh, she'll be here soon." When I say she loves you, I mean love. Any of your fights that are on Sky Sports catch up, she's watching it. Like, you're the reason why she's in the gym. You're the reason why she's boxing. Now, the reason why she gravitated towards you is she looked on Sky Sports and Sky Sports catch up, and you was the only person that looked like her. So she clicked on it and she watched the fight. And just to see someone that represents and looks the same as her, that she can relate to, she instantly just said, I want to be like Natasha.
I don't think people realise how powerful that is. Like I said, I used to look at Marion Jones and other people that's powerful. Seeing other women in your position or doing something that you like to do. There's so many negative things about body image and about, when I grew up, it wasn't, I was the tomboy. Like wherever Addison Lee went, I went with them because I couldn't relate to the girls because they didn't want to do the things I did. A lot of things I did were classed as manly or masculine. And even through school, I hid how good I was at some sport. I used to sneak to the school, the clubs, because I didn't want my friends to know that I was the sporty one. Do you know what I mean? Because it wasn't the in thing to do.
It wasn't the norm.
Yeah, it wasn't the thing to do. Like you was good at sport. It was like you going to the netball? I was like, no. And then I just leg it round, but it wasn't.
And that's why I believe representation is important. To have a diverse, but no matter what background or what sport or what sector it is, it's important to be diverse because people like my daughter probably wouldn't have got involved in boxing or enjoyed it as much as she does if she didn't see someone doing it that looks like her, that showed that it's possible. To show that, okay, I can come from where I'm coming from and still go and achieve greatness.
Yeah, visibility is key.
Yeah, 110%. So if you could have, this is a personal thing, by the way, this is me. If you could give my daughter a message, because I said to her I was going to do this. I said, if you could give my daughter a message or a word of encouragement, what would it be?
Which camera do I look at to do it?
That one right there.
What's your daughter called?
Araya.
Araya?
Yeah.
Okay. Araya, my message to you is work hard, try your best, never give up, and most of all, believe in yourself even when nobody else does, because that'll take you heights that no one else can imagine. And don't let any big person tell you what you can be and what you can't.
See? Araya, I've done it for you, baby girl. Anything's possible. So, I know you've got a daughter yourself. Just the one you said, right?
Yeah, just the one.
So is it different now when you're fighting to, being a mum now, going out and doing the ring walk and getting in the ring, to when you was, you didn't have a child? Is it different or is it the same?
Like, it's got its challenges. Like, I've just said before we come on camera, like, the running around, like, I've got so much that I need to do to be the best athlete that I can be. But then, like, as soon as 3 o'clock comes and I pick her up from school, Monday is karate, Tuesday's swimming, Wednesday's tennis and gymnastics, Thursday is tutor and something. It's just, I've got to do air stuff then. So it is hard to juggle. Lockdown was hard to juggle because she was with you 24/7. You had to bubble with her. She had to come to the gym, all that stuff. So it comes with its challenges. But one of the best things about being a mum and being an athlete is that when I didn't have her and I was like on the GB squad and I'd have a bad session, that session would stay with me for like the whole week, and I'd be like, oh my God, I can't believe I got caught with that shot in sparring. And it wound me up for the rest of the week. Whereas like now, she gives me that switch off because she doesn't care what sparring went like. When I open the door to her or when I pick her up from that school, I've just got to be mum.
You're not Natasha Jonas.
I'm not. She calls me Miss GB. She says, when I get my hair done, she goes, Mum, you're fighting, aren't you? Is it Miss GB? And she knows. So, but when I'm just with her, I'm just mum.
Oh, that's beautiful. And do you let her watch your fights?
She doesn't come to the arenas, only because when I've took her to watch other people, she's hard to. She's only a baby. She's hard to keep still and keep entertained for that long.
Full of energy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's hard to do that. So I wouldn't like to leave that responsibility with somebody else.
Of course.
Because then she'd be like, Mommy, pull me off.
No, that's good. Would you say, because I can imagine preparing for a fight, is mentally, like you have to be mentally strong. Mentally, like what is your build-up like towards a fight? And is it the same as when you first started boxing, or is it any different now?
There's loads of things that are still the same, to be honest. I don't have many superstitions, but I have routines. That was something that we developed on GB about having your perfect day. And I kind of stick to that as best I can, because that's what I think works for me. And, it's changed since you first started, but you are always learning about yourself. And, even your boxing style and what you did changes, because I'm not that energetic, 21-year-old that I was when I started. But I've learned how to, manage myself better and be smart, box smarter. And that's the same. It's just more routines and knowing yourself. And I'm constantly, every camp, I have 2 or 3 books that I'll read, not the same books. I'll go and find a book that will interest me. It's normally a psychology book, but something where I can learn about myself and pick up. And I might just, throughout a 300-page book, there might be just one sentence that sparks or resonates with me that I think, right, I'll keep that.
And that's before every fight?
That's before every fight, yeah.
Wow. So obviously you're at the pinnacle, you're at the highest level that you can be, boxing, right? Let's not sugarcoat that, which is not an easy thing to accomplish. Now, what do you think is the determining factor that's allowed you to achieve and have so much success?
Just one.
Or factors, yeah.
I think support. Like I say, we've got a huge family, but that network, because when things don't go right, and they often do, I can sit here and be like, yeah, you've just read out my confidence, that's brilliant. But there's so many times I've failed, and there's so many times I've lost, and there's so many times, you know, been injured, and, you know, whatever. People, we always just kind of focus on the stuff that went right, and not ever like home in on the stuff that goes wrong, because more stuff's gone wrong than it's gone right. They're just the stuff that's gone right.
Cool. So has it ever come to a point where you said, you know what, I don't want to do this no more, I'll quit?
I say that about 3 times a year.
Is it?
At least that since about 2010.
Wow.
But like, there's just always that, there's something, I can't finish like that, can't be like that, can't leave it like that.
So you just keep going.
I just keep going, yeah. But I say this to kids all the time in schools. Like, I'm not the best boxer. There's people that I've come across along in my journey that were way better boxers than I was or I am. But I'm the one that stuck with it, and it's a hard life. It is a hard. And I say that I love the life that I live, but it's not for everyone. And you know, there's so many much more talented athletes that have dropped off because they just can't handle the life that it needs and that it takes to be successful.
So like you're talking like the sacrifice and all the work you have to put in.
Yeah, the everything, you know, the missing out on big occasions. I was my cousin's maid of honour and missed out on a wedding. There's so many big events. There's a birthday and celebration every month in our family that I'll either go and show my face and leave within like an hour, or I just don't go. Holidays, the times you can go on holidays it's always based around me fights. It's time with the baby. Sometimes, like I say, she either has to come to the gym with me, or like I've got to go to the gym after the year, and she'll be in my hands, and then I pick her up and have to take her to bed. So there's just things that it's just not for everyone. There's you know, constantly on a diet. I've been on a diet for most of my adult life.
So you're just not just enjoying any food.
Yeah, you miss out on meals, and even when you're like in relationships, it's tough because, you know, especially when you're younger, you want to do all the things that young people do, and you want to go for meals, and you want to go for drinks out, and you want to go, you know, whatever, and you just can't do that.
So how do you feel that's affected you then, having to make those sacrifices, you know, not spending time with family, missing out on quality time? Because let's be honest, time you're never going to get back, right? Time is your most valuable asset. So how do you feel that's affected you as a person? Do you feel that's had an impact on you?
I think I've learned about myself in the sense of, like, I can be satisfied with it because I do it for me. Like, and like, I've got so many titles, and like, you know, mum and, you know, sister, and, you know, them titles, and but they're not who I am. So when you ask me who I am, like, I told you, because that's different. They're just titles that other people have given me. But at the end of the day, when the day comes and I'm lying on my deathbed or whatever, then I can say I did that for me, and that's what I live with, like.
So what you realised is a common trait amongst top performing athletes, right? And one of them is noticeable amongst everyone. Is self-belief, right? You always have self-belief. Now, again, you're at the top of your game. You're a mum. You're living the so-called dream, right? Everyone's version of a dream is subjective. Now, a lot of people have fears. What would you say your biggest fear is?
In an athlete, or just in any sense?
Just in any sense.
It used to be losing. And then before I had the baby, it was that something might happen to me nan, and my child wouldn't know me nan. And now, it's probably just not being true to myself.
Powerful. So when you say not being true to yourself, that's what, not being Natasha Jonas, or not being, you know, spending time with your family, or not achieving what you wanted in boxing? What is not being yourself?
Just doing whatever I want to do, when I want to do it, how I want to do it, and doing it my way.
Just living life.
Just living, yeah. Just exactly on my terms.
So this is an interesting one because it seems like you've always known what you wanted to do, right? Which you've always sort of been in the right direction. If you could give, what advice would you give 16-year-old Natasha Jonas?
This is going to sound big-headed, but I'd just say keep going, because everything that I've done and everything that I've been through, all the bad, all the good, all the ups, all the downs, has made me the person that I am now. And without just one little something down the road that would have changed, it might not have brought me to here, you know, like a butterfly effect, like kind of thing. So there's obviously things that I'm not proud about, but I would never make them decisions again. So they formed me now. So without that experience, I might do that now instead of done it and learn from it. Do you know what I mean? So I'd just say, you know what, I'll keep going.
Keep going. And it's funny that you said that, because I was talking earlier on today, and I said if I had something to say to myself when I was 16, it was one of that exact same thing. Just keep going. Like, life will work out for you.
Yeah.
Just keep going. But another question.
This isn't a deep one.
Who is the greatest person you know personally, and why?
That's easy, me nan.
My
nan's easily the best person I know.
Why?
Just everything from her radiates goodness. She hasn't got a bad bone in her body. She loves absolutely everyone. And if I could be half the mother, nan, parent, anything that she is, then I'd consider myself a success.
So your nan is the backbone.
It's the backbone.
And again, that's a common thing in Liverpool, right? Everyone's close to their nan.
Yeah.
And when I first moved to London, it's not the case. It's not the case in London. I just thought, why? But in Liverpool, from where we're from, your nan is the backbone of the family.
Of course.
They keep the family, they're the glue. They keep the family together, right? So it didn't surprise me that obviously you said that. But personally, I just want to give you your flowers, honestly, because I know you're a humble person, and you know you probably don't want to big yourself up, and this is why other people have to do it for you. And you know, coming from the same city, even though I haven't got the accent, it's in here. Home's where the heart is, right? So me personally, from me to you, I just want to say I'm proud of you. I want to say well done. I think the whole city's proud of you, like of what you've accomplished. Coming from where we've come from a place where we've come from, it's not easy. I'm sure the journey was not easy. And it's a struggle, and it's a grit, and it's a graft. And you push through as a black woman, inspiring other black young girls. It's absolutely amazing. So from me to you, I just want to say I'm proud of you. Keep up that amazing work and keep shining through.
Cheers, thank you.
No problem. So what's next for Natasha?
Lord only knows. I know that I'll be fighting in March.
Yeah.
Who? I don't know. Yeah. There's lots of names.
Who.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Anyone can get it.
Yeah, exactly that. There's a lot of names floating about, but you know, we'll see. Yeah. Like I say, everything's a bonus. Everything from now on's a bonus.
So have you ever thought about what you're going to do after boxing? Because anyone that's involved in sport, it's quite a short career, right? You know, you have a good 10, 15 years or so, and then you've still got the rest of your life to live. Have you thought about what you plan to do after boxing?
I do. I've got a contract with Sky at the minute, Sky Sports Boxing. I'm into my second year of that. I've got 1 year after that. So I'd like to go into that side of it, because you know, when you're not involved in the big nights, you're still involved.
Yeah,
so, and you're only then just talking about what you know, and discussing other people's flaws and stuff, and not your own. So I have fun. I enjoy working with the team. And you're at all the big fights and get the best seats in the house, just slagging everyone else. So and get paid to do it. So it's the best thing ever. So I enjoy that. I'd love to do that, and maybe eventually like go on to other sports, because even though I am a boxer, I probably know more about other sports than boxing.
Like what?
Like footy, like tennis.
Yeah.
Like I actually watched snooker, darts. I watched a lot.
Wow. So that's what you're looking to do is go into presenting doing other little bits and pieces. It's the only sort of, again, I absolutely love business. That's me. Have you ever thought about opening up a gym for the local community? Is anything sort of...
I get asked about things all the time, but you know what? To be a coach is a lot of hard, unrewarding work. And like, when I retired from amateur boxing and went to, I went back to the Rotunda, and I'll always do that. I'll give back time and do, you know, I probably would never do it as a pro, but I'd go back to the amateurs, because that's where it all begins. That's where, you know, dreams are made. Yeah, that's where dreams are made. So I'd always give back to them, but like the work that the coaches do, you're not just a coach anymore. Like, well, you wasn't anyway. You some people's parents. Yeah. You're some people's you're the counsellor. You know, you're the disciplinarian sometimes. You know, some people, kids are coming in and like, they haven't behaved. They're like, right, you're not coming to the gym for a week, and the kid will cry. But the mum's like grounded to them or whatever. But like that's the kind of effect you have. But you know, it's hard as well, because you're trying to build these kids up, and not every kid's gonna get to them what like to some heights that others reach, and it's tough. I've talked to some to the ABAs, and they've lost, and they've cried, and I've cried. It's when you sit the other side, it's even worse, and the emotions. Even at the weekend, like I was literally getting panic attacks as Liam was walking into the ring, and my heart, like I'm breathing, and my heart.
Do you feel like you're fighting?
Yeah, it's because you can't control what's happening. It's sometimes worse. But then, yeah, it's just, it's tough. But, you know, I definitely, as do as many projects. I was working in the Firefit doing a women's project, and I do as many as them as I can, but I don't think I had fully invest in being a coach, because I just think there's a lot of hard work that needs.
Comes with it.
And I've had some of the best coaches in the world. I've had, you know, the coaches from the Rotunda, the coaches from GB, and now I've got Joe Gallagher, and I see the work that they put in and the time and effort that they put into every fight, and I don't think I could give that time. So if I wasn't going to give what they give, then I don't want to do it.
And it's a shame, really, as well, because I understand, obviously, the reasons why behind it. Again, the first GB in the Olympics as a black woman, you know, you've accomplished all these things. And not even just to focus too much on the colour of things, just as a woman in itself. You know, there'd be a lot of girls that would love to have you in their corner, right? Just to, you know, be that, what do they call it? Like anchor.
Yeah, I'd always be in the corner, but I'd be in the silent one. I'd be just clapping in the stands like everybody else.
Yeah, I think that'll be enough for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, good. Well, I'm not going to keep you much longer, because I know you're a busy woman. You're probably going off to train. But it's been an absolute pleasure to have you down. You know, as soon as I asked you, you said, yep, I'm doing it. Let me know a time, even though you was late. But
if you asked anyone in my family, they would not be one bit surprised.
No, it's fine. You're forgiven. But honestly, Natasha, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All the best on your journey.
Nice one.
Keep winning, keep shining. And like I said, the whole city and myself are proud of you.
Nice one. Thank you.
There you have it. The Big Figure Show with another big figure in itself. Until the next episode, see you on the other side. Peace.